Great. No, so wonderful to see such a large number of you present today for the, I think if you see that the 14th of our symposium, I think the must have been the first one we had, was it 2010, I think. So you can see all of the abstracts on the various pages on our facility page. Obviously, yeah, so we had this like seemingly a traditional little slot after lunch. Like I've done this the last couple of years of updating on where we are with develops in NMR. Certainly, it was very helpful seeing Mark's presentation to give us a bit of the historical perspective that sometimes these things are a slow burner to reach this point where we're actually in a position where we almost have a 1.2 gigahertz at Warwick and in the UK. So we have a new building. So again, those of you who haven't seen the building, we're happy if you've got time before dashing off, whatever, transport. Plenty of Warwick people here who will happily take you over for like the 10-minute walk to show you the new building. I think it was Ying took this very atmospheric early morning sort of whatever it was like sort of look. So obviously those of you who know the site, this is the existing gigahertz building, and we basically built another box next to it with a nice little control room inside. And yeah, you were watching, those of you who noticed when you came on the screen, was the video of the crane lifting it 200 meters from the lorry to the entrance of the room on a nice wet and miserable morning in middle of February, I think, when it actually came. And so I spoke yesterday with Hayden, the Brooker installation engineer. So the actual charging of the magnets started last week, and as of yesterday, when I looked at the dial, it said 1070 megahertz, and so it's proceeding. So far, it's proceeding exactly to plan, what I've been told, behaving exactly the same way as it was brought to field in the factory in Switzerland before being transported. So if all goes well, we should have a 1.2 gigahertz magnet quite imminently, which is exciting times. So obviously, and then we've then just got to work out how we're going to distribute time and all those kind of things. That's something that the management group that's going to meet on Thursday, amongst many things, we'll be discussing and going through. So yeah, it's exciting that we're about to enter the 1.2 gigahertz age in the UK. So just to run through, we've got a wide range of probes ordered. In fact, all of the probes have been delivered. They're all sitting in boxes in the room, ready to be tested. I think we've been told they're going to test the solution state cryo probes first, and then move on to the MAS probes. We also ordered some probes from Phoenix. We got those in November, so we managed to put into arrangement a setup with Lille in France, where they have a 1.2 gigahertz, and these Phoenix probes are currently there in Lille. Some first tests have been done, sort of think going pretty well. The French system, I'm sure I'm not sure Pierre and Sabine know precisely about it, but they have your system actually encourages international visitors to a certain degree. So they're actually, the Lille scientists said if anybody wants to use those probes in the next few months, they're very keen for people to apply even. So if you can think of an experiment at 1.2 gigahertz you'd like to do in France on one of our probes, it was actually useful for us to test things out. So talk to kind of any of us who will be able to tell you what steps to take, and if you're happy to send your sample, and Lille's not far to get to by Eurostar, I'm sure people would be interested in that. So either contact Lille directly or contact any of the facility executive, and we can it's Julian Trebosque in Lille, those of you who know the Lille setup, and there's I think you would apply to go and do experiments there while the probes are there. Obviously, when our magnet's at field and everything's gone smoothly and all the other probes have been installed, we'll be shipping those probes back. So it's probably take your opportunity in the next 2 or 3 months if all goes well with our magnet basically here. So I'm sure any options there, people would be happy to, the Lille group would be very, very happy for that. And it's good for us. We know the probes are being tested and tried out. So there's a 1.2, a 1.6, and a 4 millimeter available there. So we'd also, EPSRC very generously gave us our next 2-yearly tranche of money from the core equipment scheme in last year. So the executive decided to invest in a series of different new probe capability, which should be arriving, we've ordered another very fast MES probe from Agos Amazon, and a Phoenix probe, which should be arriving this year, and a 1.3 millimeter LT mass probe, which should be arriving probably end of June next year. So there's new capability coming, and with any luck, we'll be able to test our existing 3.2 low temperature mass probe next month as well. So that's hopefully something that's going to be used more by the community already. Some kind of news. So we said thank you to Trent, who left. Sorry, I realized Paolo's picture who's smiling at me has been rather pixelated there. I got this picture off the Nottingham website. So I assume I've got the right photo, hopefully, but like. But yeah, so Trent, after a number of years of service, and we've already seen some acknowledgements of thanks to Trent, returned to his native America and took up a position with the 1.2 gigahertz that had been installed in Ohio. And we're pleased to welcome Paolo, who will be joining us in June. Currently, probably some of you know him already from the work with the DMP facility. So it'd be great to have you helping us part of the team, Paolo. So, and then another couple of faces who looking around the room where they're down there. So if you haven't met already, Stephanie and Anjali have been helping the facility team, been doing a very important job with Trent being away, and sort of so those of you who've come and used the facility recently and have interacted with Stephanie and Anjali. Another piece of news is that we have what's called a International Center for Center grant, and this is basically funding 3 postdocs. I realize actually probably Jamal might be here. I haven't met him yet. So sort of I was told he was going to be here, but like maybe not. Oh, there he is. That's Jamal. Great. So that's Jamal. Like I'd heard you were starting, but I actually hadn't met you, so I wasn't expecting it. So yeah. So like so yeah, basically just started this week, I believe, something, and that's going to be working up in Liverpool with in Fred Blanc's group. Ieva will be joining the Warwick group next week, I believe, if I find Joseph, wherever. Joseph's nodding, yes. And we have a 3rd postdoc to recruit in the pharmaceutical area, and I just need to get round to writing the paperwork to start advertising that post. So if anybody is looking for a postdoc, obviously these posts will be associated with using the high field capability at Warwick. A large number of collaborative partners in the UK, and also centers with high field NMR and companies. So this is going to be linked to it was only this scheme, we could only apply to it if you had like an NRF and other sort of things. So it was a scheme that sort of has links to the NRF function. Also to say that for the management structure of the facility, we have an oversight group. Yeah, I'm sort of looking for, so we have a new chair, Eric, who's waving at the back there, very, and so this is a group that, again, there's a picture taken from our website, kind of roughly describing how the different parts of the management group interacts. So, and we also have an external advisory board with Pierre and Sabine. So Sabine will be giving a lecture later, and Pierre's joining us for the 2nd year, and you spoke last year. So great that Pierre and Sabine are here. We also have user representatives, and we have 2 new user representatives, and thanks to Greg, who was a user representative for many years. I'm looking around, where's Greg gone? Greg's over there. But then our new, maybe then I can see Sonia and Rosalie are our new user representatives. So kind of, you're still new to the job, working out how it works, but kind of in principle, Rosalie and Sonia will join this oversight committee tomorrow and are there to kind of feedback sort of insight from the user community. So those are your I think Natalie as well, I saw was also present on the phone apparently. Yeah. So Natalie's also joined us, and the others. Stephen as well is also in the. It's been Stephen's there. Yeah, I think you're actually the one person who actually stayed on the oversight committee. So we had a sort of you were very keen. So. But yeah, so that's kind of to give us some independent sort of advice on how we're operating as a national facility. Okay, one final slide is something slightly different in that one activity from EPSRC I've been asked to be on is something they're looking at of physical sciences frontier challenges. And I think they did an activity maybe 10 years ago when they came up with like visions for the future, and they're kind of basically coming up with a new document around that. And again, we've had the first meeting, and there's going to be more activity and sort of going out to the community. So I will probably be going out to this sort of the NMR community for ideas or comments on what is in that plan. But I just thought I'd mention that at this stage. And the final thing I didn't make a slide for is we do have a Brooker travel fund, kindly sponsored by our friends in Brooker. I was told Andy over lunch, the next request for some more money will be coming again this year. So it's something we've been operating since starting again back in 2010, and allowed many PhD students to receive support to go to conferences. And I think our most recent recipient, Shaminaz, is also there, so I can call out lots of people at this point. So do be aware of that scheme. If you get results at the NRF, you can then apply for funding from this scheme to go to the conferences. So be aware of that. And that's probably, I've used up my 15 minutes. So